Hi, and welcome to a video tutorial to export GbXML from ArchiCAD to be used with CAALA. For the purpose of this tutorial, we are going to use a simple building with two floors, the ground and the first floor, a pitch roof, a balcony, and a decking area. Let's look at the ground floor first. It's important for the ground floor that we understand its internal distribution and create specific zones for all these rooms. Here you can see that there are 4 rooms and 1 corridor, and each of them have their own specific zone. Now let's look at the zone in particular. You can see that each zone is bound to the internal edges of the room, and this is how we can export a good GbXML from ArchiCAD. Now let's look at how we can create a zone from scratch. First thing, let's go to the slab tool and create a slab. Then we need to give it some boundaries. Let's go to the wall and select any wall and create a wall section here. Once you've created a wall, this is essentially an enclosed space and we can call it a room. The only thing that is missing at the moment is a roof. So before we go ahead and put a pitch roof, let's go to the zone tool, press spacebar, and place a zone in this room. So you can see it will give you a total area and a zone number. Now let's go ahead and place a roof on this building. So let's go to our roof tool and create a pitch roof here with square footprint, rectangular footprint. You can change the setting of the roof here so it's not overly exaggerated on the 3D model. Now let's check out this model on the 3D. So this is the newly created block that we have, and it has a zone inside, but we cannot see that at the moment. So press Ctrl L or go to the layers information and choose show 3D zones as model. And then just click OK. And here you can see all the zones that are created within your building. In this particular model, you can see that the zone doesn't touch the roof, and that's a problem because then we cannot detect the roof areas. But in the pre-created building, you can see that the roof and the zones are aligned and they do touch the inner surface of the roof. So let's see how we can do that. So select your zone, select any point on the zone, and make sure that stretch height is selected. Move it above your roof level and just drop it there. Once done, inspect that all sides are being intersected by the roof. Select the zone, go to Connect, and use Trim Elements to Roof and Shell. Now ArchiCAD is smart enough to automatically detect if there is a roof or a shell in this particular view, and then you can just click on it and it's going to select the roof. Now to keep the side we want, so click on that particular internal side, and now you have a roof connected to your roof shell. This gives us a more complete model of the GbXML export. Now let's look at how we can add this zone to our thermal model. For that, we need to go to Design, Energy Evaluation, and Energy Model Review. Once you go here, we can check which of the zones are still not assigned to a particular thermal block. This is called a thermal block, and you can add zones to this particular thermal block. So let's see which zones are still not used. So you can see that this particular zone is still unused, and we need to input this into our thermal block. So let's create a new thermal block and add a zone to it. Here you can see that zone number 11 is not assigned. So let's assign it to the newly created thermal block. Once we create it, you can see that now zone number 11 belongs to thermal block 001. Let's go ahead and update our energy model review. Once you update it, you can clearly see that all the zones are now part of this thermal model and can be easily exported on GbXML. This is zone 11, this is zone 10, which is the balcony, so on and so forth. Once this has been created, we can easily go ahead and click on Export GbXML to get a good GbXML export. Now, let's talk about how we can tag this so CAALA can read it properly. What we need to do is we need to go back to our flow diagram and select the slab. This can also be achieved on the 3D view because sometimes when you have overlapping components, it becomes hard to select it. You can alternatively use tab till you find the material, but I'm just going to go to the short way and just select the slab from right here. Here we need to attach a CAALA layer ID to it, and that can be done over here. So let's put a CAALA ID of A11, which is ground floor against earth. The reference to each CAALA layer can be found on the PDF attached below this video. And for external walls, the layer is CAALA A03. And for roof, that particular layer is CAALA A03. For external walls, it's A01. Once we do this, we need to go back again to Energy Model Review and click Update Energy Review Model. Once we do this, we have to just go and check if all the surfaces are being detected properly. This can be checked in the Structures area. Here we can see that all the ground floor slab is being detected in the external structure. And if you look at the new block as well, the ground floor slabs are being detected. Now this is what we want as a complete model. Similarly, you can check for external walls. All the external walls are being selected. And the total area that it needs to have. Now you can go ahead and simply export it. You also need to verify that all your openings are detected, whether they are windows or external doors. And here you can see that both the external doors are being detected and the window as well. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is how you model balconies. So let's go back to drafting mode, switch off the zone model view, and see how we can model a zone for the balcony. Please keep in mind that the balcony slab should be a separate slab than your floor slab, so you can tag it as CAALA B10 or B10. Then you need to create a dwarf zone, a zone that is not full height, it's way smaller, and in this way you will only detect one surface. I will show you that once we load that in CAALA. Now, let me go ahead and delete the object that we created here, and show you how the GbXML export from this particular model will look like at CAALA. So before we go to CAALA, let's just review how each floor is tagged or each element is tagged. So let's look at all the external walls. You can see all the external walls need to be tagged CAALA A01. Don't worry if you forget to tag them, we will detect them anyways, but sometimes if you want to have a wall called separately or use a balcony differently than a slab, then you do need to tag them. Let's do the same for the floor below. I think it's done already for the slab and other elements. Now let's go ahead and go to energy evaluation, energy model review, and update the energy model review. Once this is done, you can see that this thermal block contains no zone anymore, so we can get rid of it and just For safety, update one more time. Now you can see that all the floors are being detected, both ground, internal ceilings, the balcony slab, and the roof. Now this is a complete GbXML model. Now let's go ahead and check for internal structures. So this is the external straight walls that are all selected. We can verify them by looking at the model. Let's look at the ground floor slab. And you see that all the slab is being selected. So we have full coverage of the ground. Now let's look at the roof, and you can see the full roof is being selected. But here you will see that there is some decking part missing. And that's here. So overall, you have two surfaces that are exposed to the wall, but in CAALA, this would be read as a roof as well. So let's go ahead and export this. Please open up CAALA, log into your account, and then select the desired project. Once this project is selected, use GbXML data import and select the layer that you just, the GbXML that you just exported. CAALA on the backend will detect if the GbXML was exported from ArchiCAD and will process the surfaces differently and will use the tags that you created on ArchiCAD to match the surfaces. Here you can see that our model was completely loaded, all the roofs were loaded, and a nice way or best way or the best practice is to verify that the areas are being calculated correctly. So the way you can do that is keep your CAALA dialog open, and we go to ArchiCAD and open the energy evaluation, energy model review, and let's check, for example, the ground floor slab. So the total area is 402 square meters. And let's check CAALA A11, that is floor against the earth, and it's also 402 square meters. So you can verify similarly for external wall. So let's look at external wall. And that's 474, and here you get 472 square meters. So one thing that you need to note between CAALA and the GbXML export is there is a slight variation of 1 to 2% between the total net floor area. This cannot be prevented. As you can see in ArchiCAD, the GbXML is exported with significant gaps, and this is not always possible to calculate accurate areas. So once you've verified your areas, you can go ahead and continue working with CAALA as you would. You would see all your layers here separately. You can assign them different materials, change thicknesses, add cost to them, and you will be able to see those reports directly reflect in real time in CAALA. I hope this tutorial gives you a clear overview of a workflow with ArchiCAD and how we move them from ArchiCAD GbXML to CAALA, and gives you a clear understanding of how you can tag different layers within ArchiCAD. There is also a written guide available with this video, and all the CAALA layers and its description are given within that. Thank you.